From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. Canadians will hear some early findings today from the country's Transportation Safety Board on last month's fiery crash landing at Toronto's Pearson International Airport.
The airplane just crashed at 2-3.
The Delta Airlines flight arriving from Minneapolis crashed on February 17th and burst into flames as it flipped over and skidded on the tarmac. All 76 passengers and 4 crew on board survived, and those hanging upside down in their seats unbuckled their belts and escaped out the emergency doors.
We just landed. Our plane crashed. It's upside down.
Just so you are, there's people outside walking around the aircraft there. Yeah, we've got it. The aircraft is upside down and burning.
21 people were sent to hospital. The crash closed 2 runways and caused days of travel disruptions. Canada is in the advanced stages of negotiations with Europe on joining a new defence partnership. Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly told the Canadian Press yesterday that talks about expanding our security and defence ties with Europe were prompted by growing concerns over Ukraine, Russian aggression, and increasing rhetoric by U.S. President Donald Trump about wanting to make Canada a 51st state. She says the goal is to make sure ultimately Canada is closer to Europe than ever. China has executed 4 Canadians in recent months. Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly says all 4 were dual citizens, and Beijing put them to death earlier this year.
They were all facing charges linked to criminal activities, according to China, linked to drugs.
She gave no other details, saying only she'd been following this issue very closely for months and that she and former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had also urged Beijing not to put the Canadians to death. She said Canada strongly condemns what China has done, and she's been in touch with the families who have requested privacy. China is set to launch a trade war with Canada today that has canola farmers caught in the crosshairs just weeks away from planting season. China is enacting a 100% tariff on Canadian canola oil and canola meal, plus a 25% duty on our seafood and pork exports. The levies are in retaliation for Canada's tariffs on Chinese-made electric vehicles, steel and aluminum products. And a new report says the number of local news outlets has been in significant decline in Canada. The Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives says there are currently 2,900 local news outlets between radio, TV, newspapers, and online media. That means almost 2.5 million Canadians live in a postal code with either 1 or 0 local news outlets, which is double the proportion from 2008. Report co-author and senior economist David McDonald says without local news, misinformation from social media fills the void. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Joseph Woll made 38 saves in the Toronto Maple Leafs' 2-1 victory over the Colorado Avalanche. Steven Lorentz scored the winner shorthanded in the third period off the rush after a Leafs clearing attempt hit falling referee Kelly Sutherland at center ice. The winger capitalized on the break with a terrific shot for his 6th goal of the season.
It seems like I've had a few bounces go the other way this year, so we'll take that one.
The night's only other NHL game saw 3 players score less than 2 minutes apart early in the first period as the Minnesota Wild cruised to a 4-0 shutout of the Seattle Kraken. At the Women's World Curling Championship in South Korea, Canada's Rachel Homan handed Switzerland its first loss of the round robin with a 7-6 extra end victory. Homan's Ottawa-based rink improved to 7-2 to tie Sweden and South Korea for second. Switzerland leads the standings still at 8-1. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.